Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome to the Premier League Tiermaker. So, who do I like? Who do I hate? Who do I dislike? You'll find out right now. Who am I just indifferent on? So, I support Arsenal. Obviously, they're going to be number one. So, yeah, that's just like that. So, from here onwards, let's see who I like and who I hate. You'll find out right now. So, as I support Arsenal, I think it's pretty obvious who I hate the most. At least three clubs specifically. There's United, there's Chelsea, put them there, and there is Spurs right in the middle. It's ranked from left to right. So the team I hate the most is Man United. And you're probably wondering, how do you hate them more than Spurs? Well, it's pretty simple. In the late 90s, early 2000s, even beyond that, Arsenal v Man United was the Premier League rivalry. It's arguably probably the best Premier League rivalry in the Premier League era, obviously. One of the best rivalries in English football. It was fierce. It was pure hatred between the players, the managers, the fans. And in North London, the three most supported teams at school were Arsenal, Spurs, Man United. It was used like Arsenal, Man United, and then Spurs kind of. But there was a lot of all three. Not as much Chelsea, but it was North London though. It wasn't like, towards the Chelsea areas, towards North London where Spurs and Arsenal are. So you'd expect that to be there. But there were a lot of United fans as well, a lot of United fans. And every time we played each other, the following Monday or the following Wednesday or Thursday, there'd be a lot of beef. Regardless of who won, there'd always be debates, always arguments, always fights. Maybe not too many fights to be fair. Mainly arguments and debates about which team's better. Or when they beat us 8-2, it wasn't a good Monday. I can tell you that. It wasn't a good Monday at all. Most of the time they won. So most Mondays after we played them, it was not pleasant as an Arsenal fan going in to see them laughing about them beating us. So that wasn't fun. So the hatred came from there because I grew up with this rivalry. It started in the late 90s. I was born in 95, but when I was 5 years old, started watching. In the 2000s, it was really fierce, and I witnessed Arsenal win league titles, but our rivalry with them was obviously a standout rivalry, and a lot of Arsenal Man United fans at school, constant arguments, getting roasted by their fans when half of them don't even watch the football either. There was a lot of United fans that were really plastic. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to say all their fans are plastic, but at least half of them didn't even watch the games. There's a guy I knew, he didn't watch a single United game, and he just constantly runs about how they were so much better than us. It pissed me off, okay? So, it was not just that though, it was the players too. The players of both clubs, they hated each other. And this rivalry, even after Arsenal slipped away after 2005, it was still there. The rivalry was still there. Even after United kept winning titles and we stopped winning titles, the hatred was still there up until 2012. 2013 maybe, when Ferguson retired. That's when it started to go away. That's when the rivalry started to die down a bit. It's still sort of there, but not really. It's not really that level as it was before. But up until 2012, from the 90s, Arsenal Man United was, it was pure hatred. It was a rivalry. It was a big rivalry between us. We always wanted to beat each other. It was something else. It was something else. So because of all of that, because I grew up with both of these teams fighting over titles, that's where the hatred for them comes from. That's why I hate them the most out of anyone. So that's why I hate them more than Spurs. The Spurs rivalry, I hate them as well, to be fair, but it wasn't. I mean, it was. It's a longer rivalry. It's more historic rivalry over a longer period of time. But it's only when they became very good after 2008 where it started to get even more intense between us. But with United, it was a different sort of, it was different gravy, I guess, so to speak. It was a different sort of rivalry. It was a title rivalry. If you're an AFL fan watching, a good thing to compare this to is Hawthorn Geelong. Think Hawthorn Geelong Premier League version. That's what this was in the 2000s, essentially. So, yeah, there we go. Onto obviously, I hate Chelsea and Spurs as well. They're rivals to us, London rivals. So yeah, we obviously all hate each other. Don't need to explain too much there. I'll stick with the big teams for now. Liverpool. Right now, they are the most hated team in the country. It was Man United before, but now it's more Liverpool. I say they're kind of like Collingwood in the AFL. But the thing is though, I don't really hate them. I don't like them that much. But I have liked Liverpool teams in the past. Their Champions League games in the mid-2000s were really entertaining to watch. I didn't really care whether they won or lost. Even when they lost, it was still entertaining. But watching them playing in Champions League was entertaining back in the day when it was on ITV. they were one of the best teams to watch in the Champions League, I feel. So I kind of liked them because of that. I didn't support them obviously, but I kind of liked them because of that. I liked Gerrard as a kid. I loved Gerrard. I liked Torres, Luis Garcia. There's Xabi Alonso. There's quite a few players that they had that I really liked. And then even in like 2014, I quite liked the squad they had. I liked watching Suarez and Sturridge up front. I don't really hate them. I liked some of their teams. I like Ox. I'm glad that Ox has won a Champions League now. That's great for him. I like Mane. You know, I like, you know, there's a few players they have now that I like a lot. I like even like Wijnaldum. But again, I don't like them that much either. But I don't hate them. I feel like I should hate them, but I really don't. Like, we don't have a big rivalry with them. We don't really. We have had a few differences with them, but like there's not been a like properly fierce rivalry of hatred. It's not really there between us and Liverpool, so that kind of factors in as well. But I just don't hate Liverpool. I can't bring myself to hate them for some reason. It's their fan base though. That's the main reason that they're disliked. Their fan base is, it's cringy. It's really bad. But as a club, even though fans are a big part of the club, I don't mind them. And I like Klopp as well. I do really like Klopp. I liked him a lot at Dortmund. And I liked him less when he moved to Liverpool, but still, I do like him as a manager. It's hard for me to hate him because I do enjoy watching his press conferences, even though he's sometimes a bit silly with his excuses when he loses, but still, he's entertaining. And I like the guy. So, even though I want to hate Liverpool, I can't bring myself to actually hate them because I don't hate them. I don't hate them. I dislike some of their players, sure, but you know, and I dislike their fans, but I don't hate them. Man City, dislike. I don't hate them either. I don't hate them. There's not a rivalry there, but I'm not a big fan of how they came to the top. I mean, it's you know, it's fair, I guess. You know, rich owners bought them and they spent a lot of money, and you know, but I just feel like it's not really earned. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say really. I'm not going to say too much. I don't want to piss any people off, but I don't really like Man City. It's just like, I just feel like they bought success. I respect Chelsea a bit more. Like, I feel like they're more of a genuine club. I'm not a fan of how Man City did it, to be honest. Like, they've been banned from Champions League for a reason. Like, they just definitely did things wrong. So yeah, I feel like a team like Spurs, even though I hate them, they earned it. They earned their way to being a Champions League club. They earned their way into being a top 4 club. I don't feel like they earned it. That's mainly. I feel like Chelsea earned it as well. I feel like these, Tottenham especially, I think earned it. I don't think they earned it. So yeah, maybe I sound salty because Arsenal have been terrible for a few years now, but that's just how it is. I don't hate them though. I just dislike them. Right, where do I move on next? Leicester. Leicester City. I like them. Everyone liked them, to be fair, apart from maybe their rivals, but I think they're a likeable club. When they won the league in 2016, that's very admirable what they did. Like, you could argue that all the big teams were bad that season apart from Spurs, but still, having said that, to win the league in any season for Leicester is extremely impressive. And I was really impressed by what they did, so congrats on that 2016 win. That was something immense. The following season too, they got to the quarterfinals Champions League, you know. They did well for themselves in Champions League. Quite a respectable performance for them. And they're a good team to watch. They play good football. They play nice football. They won the league playing good football. They have players like Vardy, Mahrez, Kante. These are all players that are good to watch. And they achieved some great things. And even without Kante, even without Mahrez, they're still playing good football. They got the right players. They do good transfer business. They're just a likeable club. And they got a good atmosphere as well at the stadium. So yeah, they're likeable. And what they did in 2016 obviously is very impressive, similar to Western Bulldogs in the AFL in the same year, funnily enough. But some crazy underdog story there. So yeah, I respect them for that. I like the way they play, and obviously this season as well, they're in the top 4, so they've definitely stayed a good club. So there we go. The club I like the most, apart from the Big Six, I mean, yeah, outside the Big Six, is Everton. I just like how they take points off big teams, essentially. Since like the late 2000s, Everton were always a tough team to play against. For Chelsea, for United, for Arsenal. When they beat us, it was annoying, but I liked how they were sort of an underdog, but also a good underdog that could play the big boys. They could beat Chelsea, they could beat Man United. I liked that about them. I liked the fact that they could compete with the big boys. Even though they couldn't maybe break into the top 4, they did once, to be fair, but even though they couldn't break into it regularly, still, the fact that they could beat these big teams on a regular basis was admirable, I think. And they still do it now. They still do it now. Even in Europe as well, they had a few good European runs where they have got some good wins. I remember Arteta, like, I liked Arteta before he joined Arsenal as a player. Like, ages ago, I liked Arteta. I liked watching him play. I remember him equalising in Europe from 2-0 down to make it 2-2 at Goodison, I think it was. Can't remember what game that was, but that was I liked watching Arteta play. Also, Tim Cahill. I love Tim Cahill. Like, watching him play, scoring all those goals, the boxing celebration. I liked Tim Cahill. I liked Yakubu. There's a lot of old Everton players that I really liked. Even like Lukaku. Lukaku, when he was at Everton, he was insane. So I liked a lot of things about Everton, and a lot of things about their past and their present. So yeah, I like a lot of things about their club. And obviously Walcott's there now. He's doing all right for himself there. So yeah, there we go. I dislike Burnley. To be fair, they do what it takes to win, and I can admire that. Like when they constantly get narrow wins at home, especially like a 1-0 Burnley, which is quite a common scoreline. They do what it takes to win, and I do like that about them, but playing against them is really annoying. Like, even though we do beat them usually, we only just beat them every time. They're a hard team to play against, but the way they play, I don't like the way they play. And to be fair, like, I admire like what they do. Like, they go into Europe. They didn't get to the main competition, but they were in the Europa League qualifiers. They did get into Europe at some point, which was great for them. But I just don't like the way they play. I just don't like them that much. I dislike them more than Man City. So yeah, I don't like Burnley. And yeah, if I was to pick 3 teams to go down, they'd be one of them for sure. I don't think they'll go down though, but I dislike Burnley. I don't like the way they play. Bournemouth, in the middle. Yeah, in the middle. I like watching him play sometimes, but I'm not a big fan of the club. I like Eddie Howe, but I'm not a huge fan of the club. I don't dislike him either. I'm just like in the middle. Don't really think too much of him. Same with Brighton as well. I sometimes like watching him, but I don't like him. I don't dislike him. They're just okay. You know, they're just there. They just exist. Newcastle, dislike him. Look, listen, right? Their fan base deserves better. Like, this is probably the worst run club in the Premier League. Like, that's not an understatement. This might be the worst run club in the Premier League. Their owners just don't seem to care. They're getting bought out apparently, which might be a good thing, because they might have owners that actually care about them, invest money into them. But their fans deserve better. So I'll give them that. They got a very good stadium. All right, I'll give them that as well. But I don't really like them that much. I'm not a fan. I don't like their kits. I don't like playing against them either. The 4-4 draw still stings, to be honest. Even though it didn't really mean much in general terms, but still, that 4-4 still annoys me sometimes. There's other games too where we played against them, we weren't that good. I don't particularly like them that much. It's mainly because we played our games against them in the past, but yeah, I don't really like. I like them more than Burnley though, and more than City. Again, they're a club that deserves better. Their fans deserve better, but don't really like the club that much. I dislike Norwich. There's no particular reason, I just never did. We always beat Norwich, well, most of the time anyway. We tend to get big wins over them. Obviously, you might remember Wilshere v Norwich. There's a few goals we scored against them, a few bangers. They tend to get smashed by us for the most part. Having said that, I never liked them. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I never liked Norwich. It's not even the way they play. Actually, I like their kits as well, but I don't know, it's something about them. I just never liked them. I always found them annoying. That's just it. I like Crystal Palace. Good atmosphere. I like some of their players. I like Zaha as well. And also, just like Everton. I like how they've beaten some big teams over the years as well. They've also proven to be a team that can really hang with the big boys sometimes when they play against them. They've not really done that well table-wise. Having said that, I do quite like them. I just like them as a club. I think they're a nice club, and I think I hope they stay in the Premier League for a while, for a long time, forever maybe, because I think they're a valuable addition to the league. Sticking with valuable additions, Watford. I like Watford. Same as Palace, really. I just like them. I think they're a likeable club, just like Palace, Leicester, and even Everton. I just think these clubs are just likeable. I like Watford's kits as well. Their kits especially are really nice. I like the yellow and black. Their stadium's good. I like them. They're just a likeable club. I know if you're Watford fans as well, which are pretty sound people. So yeah, I like Watford. I like them more than Palace, I think. Slightly more. There's an order, by the way, order of from left to right. Each tier is an order as well, so it's not just these tiers, it's this as well. So just so you know. Sheffield United. I like them because of what they've done this season. I think for them to come up and properly be like, you know, in the top 7, in the top 6 in the first season is admirable. I like what they've done. They've beaten some big teams as well. They've done well for themselves. They've done really well for themselves, and I think they can be proud of what they've done this season. They might get Europe as well potentially, depending on how things go. Depends on what the season what happens with the season, to be fair. But they've done well for themselves this season. So yeah, I respect that. I really do respect that. So because of what they've done, I like them. Same with Wolves last season. What they did last season, I don't like the way they played, to be fair. I do like watching good football, and I don't think they play that great football. Having said that, what they did last season, coming up and finishing so high up, that's admirable for me. I like what they've done. So just like Sheffield United, the fact that they've just come up to a new league and they've done well. Obviously, they had a bit of money. They had some good players to start off with. It's still impressive to finish where they did. And they beat quite a few big teams as well, including us, unfortunately, but I still like them. Aston Villa. They're in between here and here. I think they're a big club, likeable. They're likeable as a club, but sometimes I don't like playing against them. So it's in the middle of this, to be fair. I'll put them in the like. I'll put them in the like, just in the like. I like Southampton too. Again, just like, I'm going to put them here actually.
You don't have any notifications. I
didn't ask. When did I ever say the name Alexa? Did I ever say that? I don't know what she hears. But anyway, Southampton, just like these clubs, I just think they're likable. They've also produced a lot of good talent as well. Their academy is clearly something special. They produce some great players. They produced Gareth Bale, Walcott, a few other players. Van Dijk was signed for Liverpool, obviously. There's a few players that have come from that club. Maybe not their academy, but there are a few players that they had, that they developed and sold, that turned out to be stars. So that has to be noticed, I think. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I like them quite a bit. Another good academy is West Ham. If you look at the players they've produced, it's they produced quite a lot of big stars, quite a lot of English ones especially. Having said that, not a big fan as a club. Obviously they're a London club, but I don't hate them. I don't think they hate us really. They hate Spurs a lot more than they hate us. But I'm indifferent on them. I don't dislike them. I don't like them. Sometimes I like watching them play, sometimes. Like in the past, sometimes they've been quite a good team to watch. But not so much in recent years. Having said that, don't like them that much, don't hate them that much. So there we go. That is my tier maker. I support Arsenal. I like Everton, Leicester, Watford, Palace, Southampton, Sheffield United, Wolves and Aston Villa. In the middle on Liverpool, Bournemouth, Brighton and West Ham. Yeah, I like Liverpool more than these clubs, so I'll keep that as it is. I dislike Newcastle, City, Burnley and Norwich. And I hate Chelsea, Spurs, Man United, which is kind of obvious considering I'm an Arsenal fan. So there we go. If you disagree with certain things, obviously there's just opinion. There's just about what I like. So like if you have a different tier list, then just list it in the comment section. Tell me who you like. You don't have to name all 20. You can just tell me like what teams you like the most, who you hate the most. You can just let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to read them. I do read all comments. I may not reply to all of them, but I do read every single one. So even the spam ones. So just so you know. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and see ya.
I roll the dice, see where life takes me. I've been feeling down on these nights lately, but I know that I got so much to give. Never forget, but I can learn to forgive, yeah. I roll the dice, see where life takes me. I've been feeling down on these nights lately.